This is his first, at least a share of his first ACC regular season title. You've been there the whole time since he's been promoted. How have you seen him grow as a coach over the last couple of seasons?
I think really just the time and experience has helped him really become the coach he is. I mean, you coaching at a university like this, it's obviously going to be a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations. And I think every step of the way he's carried himself and the team in the right manner, and he's always stuck to what he's believed in. And I think that's great. But I mean, you just look at how he constructs offenses and just how his willingness to change and innovate. I think it just speaks to just how great of a coach he is and just his way to motivate too and hire great assistant coaches too. It's been great, and I'm just so happy for him. For us to win a share at the ACC and have even more to play for this year, I think is great, and it just shows he got a lot of great years to come.
Armando, on that note, last year was such a disappointment. How much of a goal was it to kind of get things right, not only for you guys, but for Coach Davis too?
It meant everything. It was a lot at stake for all of us this year, and I mean, just how we responded from last year to this year has been great, and there's obviously a lot more stuff we got to do and fulfill, but we're happy with where we're at so far right now.
If I can follow up too, have you noticed a change? Not that he ever didn't have command of the locker room or anything, but have you noticed a change in the authoritativeness of how he goes about his business now?
Honestly, no. This year it's been more of the players leading alongside of him. So his message tells me, RJ, Cormac, one of us, and we kind of get the guys to realize and understand what he's trying to tell us.
How about during timeouts and tense situations, especially late? Is he any different in those situations now? Because he appears maybe less animated. Maybe I'm not right. Because the first year he was, Steve's reacting to that. The first year he was.
Notre Dame one was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. First year he was pretty animated, especially during the run. So is he any different in those situations?
He's definitely still been animated. I mean, you look at games like we played UConn and New York, he was animated, Kentucky and Atlanta. Those big games that definitely get out of him, and you see the emotions coming out of him even more. But like I said, this year I think we got a lot of great leadership from a lot of different guys. So it has allowed him to not have to tell us so many different things. And I mean, he really hasn't had to repeat himself either as much. So it's been great just having a team full of guys that's willing to listen and learn.
You told us that you read everything earlier this season, like on social media, the tweets, and this and that. Did you see anything last year about Coach that especially bothered you or offended you or made you mad?
I mean, you see the tweets like, I have a bad game, they kill me. Coach Davis have a bad game, they call for his job. Just crazy stuff like that. But like I said, playing at a university like this, you got a lot of emotional fans and people that want to win, which they deserve. But we all know Coach Davis is a great coach and be one of the greatest coaches, I think, of all time. So everything takes time.
After the last game, you said that at the end of the day, the ACC runs through you. What did you mean by that? And do you kind of think that maybe, speaking of reading social media, Kyle Filipowski saw that? And how do you think he'll react to it when you guys play each other Saturday?
It'll be fiery. I think when I said it, it was taken out of context, which is fair. I guess I got to be smart at how I say things, but I don't regret saying it, and it'll be a great game. I think Duke has been, since we beat them, probably a top 3-4 team in the country. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game.
Not that there's any extra motivation needed for this matchup, but do you think that might kind of light a fire under him?
For sure, but I think it'll be a fire lit up under him regardless, because it's his last game playing in Cameron Indoor Stadium, and obviously they want to go out with a win. We know what's at stake for both teams, so we ready.
Mondo, what kind of differences have you noticed in Duke since y'all played them when you see the film?
The way they defend it, I think doing a better job of, especially at the rim, just defending at the rim. But I mean, all their guards, they're all starting to come about. You see McCain, he's been amazing all year, but I think after our game, that really gave him a confidence boost even more to fully get into his full self. I mean, when you're a freshman, it's tough early on, even midway through the ACC, but I think we're starting to see how great of a player he is. And then Also, too, I saw last game they had some other production from freshmen too that were playing great. So we just got to be ready and practice. He's obviously getting more healthier, and Roach too. So it's gonna be a great game, and they're a lot better team than when we played them.
Armando, watching the Tennessee-South Carolina game last night, and at one point they started talking about you, and you know the emotions you had the other night. Like, just what has it been like for you since then, and who have you heard from after you got choked up and sort of let it all out?
It's been good. Obviously, I was definitely sad after the game, but now just hearing the support from all the fans, friends, family, all that, I feel good, and it was just, yeah, really that.
And just what are the emotions heading into your last game at Cameron?
Just want to win. The same emotion as every time you go into that place. Really, nothing matters other than winning. So.
What have you been telling Ingram and some of the newer guys about playing specifically at that venue in this rivalry?
It's gonna be a different Duke team than what we saw. You play at home. When we play here, we're a different team versus Duke. And when they play there, they're a different team. But we got to also be a different team going in there with a mindset ready to win. And it'll be runs during the game, and it won't be easy, but we just got to stay together. I think that's the main point of trying to win over there.
Are you guys a different team than the first meeting, and if so, in what way?
Definitely, it's more of a togetherness with us, and we have more of an understanding of what we need to do. And we played in a lot of big games this year, so I think we'll be ready to go over there and play.
How much does Cormac producing more since then kind of also make you guys a different team?
It's been great because when he's hitting shots and doing those things, it opens up the floor for everything. And just how great he's been defensively on this stretch, I think that's something that's been underrated that people haven't really noticed. And Cormac, he's just been great, and we will have him on Saturday. I know he'll have a big game.
Have Cormac and Harrison kind of provided that grit, that toughness that maybe Brady Manick did a couple of years ago during that run? Is that kind of a comparison?
I'd say so. Harrison all year, he's been the guy that'll go out there and do whatever it takes. He affects the game in so many different ways, and that's a huge plus for us. And Cormac, with his leadership, how hard he played, and his ability to hit big shots. He's played in a lot of big games in his college career. He's played in Cameron Indoor before and had big games. So having those two guys in that position is huge for us.
When you think back to the game 2 years ago, what stands out in your mind 2 years later about going in there and winning that one?
That was a great team. They had some great players. You look at Paulo now, he's been killing it. Marquis been hurt, but he's been killing it too. And us going there and win that game, I don't know if we had any business winning that game, honestly.
Armando, you mentioned the other night how you've been through as much as any player maybe in North Carolina history, just in all the stuff you've seen. Maybe not during the season, but have you and Jeremy, he's kind of in a similar boat at Duke. Have you guys ever had any conversations about that? He's also obviously seen a lot there.
For sure. I talked to Jeremy a good amount, and he's had a great career there. And against us, he always plays amazing. So hopefully he won't have as good of a game. But Jeremy, he's had such a great college career, and he was my point guard my junior year. Really, since like the 7th grade, we've been on the same AU team, kind of on and off. So just seeing how great of a player he's becoming. We got the same manager too, so happy for him. But I need him to play a bad game on Saturday.
Armando, what's your feeling about this being your last Duke North Carolina game, and it being the two top teams in the ACC? It just kind of has that feeling of this is how it's supposed to be in the ACC, these main rivals or whatever, and you getting to partake in this last one with the championship on the line. What does that mean for you?
We may can see him 2 more times after that. You never know, but super excited to be able to go in there and play again. It's gonna be a great game, and I'm excited to experience it with this team because all we've been through and just how together we are. I want to see what's the difference of the experience going in there with this team versus other teams I play with.
Does it feel like all is right with the world though, with the championship game? I mean, I know you guys have a share, but it's out there for you guys, and they have a chance to go ahead and get a share. Does it feel like all is right with the world when Duke and Carolina are playing the final game of the regular season for a championship?
For sure, when it's a high-stakes game with Duke and UNC, it's always going to be electric, and it adds even more to the story.
What's it like walking onto the court for the first time in warm-ups when the students are there and very few other people, as opposed to all the other places that you guys go?
I've done it a few times now, so I'm pretty used to it now, but coming into it was pretty crazy because it's something you grow up watching, just the rivalry and everything with the Duke and UNC game, and to actually play in it, it's a different feeling than what you'll ever experience, and I'm just fortunate I've been able to play in it, probably play against Duke probably more than any other player.
And when you walk out onto the court for warm-ups, and the students have all the different signs and stuff for different players, what's the most interesting thing you've heard or seen? When you're just shooting around, there's nobody else in the building, a couple of media on the baseline, and they're waiting for you.
People, man, they mean over there. They tear me up, but at the end of the day, it's all fun and games because obviously they Duke students, they want to win, and they go there for those type of reasons too, to be a fan, and I get all that what comes with being a fan, so it's all fun for me, but a lot of it is mean.
Armando, for you, you guys obviously, had the, 10-game streak, it was up and down, then you now have won, 5 in a row. At this point of the season, do you feel like you guys are kind of hitting a different stride, so to speak, and things like that?
For sure, I think just more of a locked-inness with us, and we understand what's at stake in this latter stretch of the season. We want to play, I think, 11 more games. That's our goal, so we got a lot to look forward to.
Do you think there's, I guess, anything, in this 5-game streak you guys have kind of gone back to, things that are allowing you guys to, kind of click how you were, in the middle stretch?
Defense, especially the last 2 games, I think our defense has been great, and kind of tightening those bolts a little bit more. We had that week break, and I knew that would be really good for us coming off the Syracuse loss, I think. It allowed us to kind of re-identify the things that we want to do defensively, and it's been great for us.
Coach Davis said that he really felt like you guys have been super consistent in terms of defense and rebounding since that Oklahoma game. He said that's something he really talked to you guys about going into that game. What do you remember about that specific moment?
I think after we played Kentucky and UConn coming off those losses, we got a chance to practice and do different things. And as a team, we kind of identified the 3 things that we need to do to win. And we started believing it even more as a unit in terms of players. And it allowed us to have success and really haven't looked back since.
Yeah, and specifically, if I may follow up, those 3 things you mentioned, what are they specifically?
We want to out-rebound every team, protect the ball, and defend.
And how did you see just in that moment, like we were talking about earlier, just the kind of passion and fire from Coach Davis?
It's really the same with him every day. He's just, y'all know how passionate he is about just everything we do. And I think we started to see a difference once we started bringing that same passion.
You guys have already clinched a share of the ACC title. Has the thought of getting an outright title been a conversation point, or even just a thought in your head as maybe a little extra motivation for this one?
Definitely, but going into a game like Duke, there's no more motivation we need other than just to win the game. And it's one of those games you circle on the calendar every year. You want to go in there and win, but it makes it even better that something like that is at stake.
Armando, just for the future of the program, how important is it that the younger players see what this place means to you as you pass off things next year?
It's super important. I mean, you see just all around the country just how crazy recruiting is with recruiting, transfer portal, all those different things. But I think the way we've been doing things over here has showed this is a place where you can come and get better, have fun, do everything. And I think UNC is, it's obviously going to be one of the top schools that everybody want to go to.
Harrison has talked about before, like when he was trying to figure out where to transfer, that he watched film of how you and RJ played and tried to think about how he might fit with you guys. What did you think he was going to be like plugging him in to this team? And like, has it been different the way it's worked out? Like, what did you think before and what do you think now?
It's worked out how we thought it would. We knew coming in he could pass the ball really well. He could obviously score. I didn't know he could shoot it that good, but he's been shooting it amazing, and I didn't know he could rebound like how he did either. But it's been great, just everything he's brought to the team. He's brought his personality, which has been probably the best thing that we've got out of him because he makes everything so fun, and obviously he's a funny guy. So having him in the program has been great. He's been everything we've been expected and more.
Has he gotten, I'm sorry, Kirk, has he gotten a hunger for rebounding the more and more that he's done it? Because he obviously wasn't rebounding this way at the start of the season, but now it's like, the appetite is there, it seems like.
Definitely, he's starting to see how fun it is down there, and it's been helping me too because it pushes me, but it also pushes everybody to want to get more rebounds, and I think that's part of Carolina that just rubs off on every player that comes here.
You good? Thanks. Tommy, last one.
When you go into a game like this, obviously you guys prepare. You played 30 games this year. You know all about Duke. You played them before. How tough is it to stay on point with the game plan, with the scout, when you get in the heat of the battle, and then telling Elliott, and maybe Harrison, even Cormac, we got a plan, let's stick to it, it's loud or whatever. Just walk us through how that looks Saturday night.
Yeah, it means everything. When you go in an environment like that, the super hostile rivalry game, we got to be together more than anything. That's the most important factor, I think, of the game, because there'll be runs, there'll be big shots, the crowd will be into it, but what's important is us not letting that affect us and just sticking to the game plan, not doing anything out of the ordinary, just staying consistent.
Thank you, Armando.
Thanks, Armando.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.